President Trump announced a new trade deal with the UK on May 8, 2025. This full and comprehensive deal comes after weeks of turmoil in global markets. The turmoil began with Trump's decision to impose a wave of tariffs in early April. The deal with the UK is Trump's first major trade agreement since the tariffs were put in place. The announcement has been met with mixed reactions. Some analysts see it as a sign that Trump is willing to negotiate, others are more skeptical. They view the deal as a way for Trump to distract from the negative economic impact of his tariffs. This deal is sure to have significant implications for both the US and the UK. It also has the potential to reshape global trade relationships. Only time will tell what the true impact of this deal will be. One thing is for sure, the world is watching closely. It all began on April 2, 2025. President Trump, known for his unpredictable moves, dropped a bombshell on the global economy. He announced a 10% tariff on all goods imported into the United States. This blanket tariff was just the beginning. Trump then threatened reciprocal tariffs on specific countries. These targeted tariffs would be in addition to the 10% blanket tariff. The markets reeled. Uncertainty gripped investors, sending shockwaves across global stock exchanges. The reaction was swift and brutal. Stock markets plunged. Businesses, both domestic and international, grappled with the sudden increase in costs. The International Monetary Fund warned of a potential global recession. In the face of mounting pressure and market instability, Trump blinked. He announced a 90-day pause on the country-specific tariffs. However, the 10% baseline tariff remained in place. So did existing tariffs on steel, aluminum, and the hefty 145% tariffs on goods from China. The UK found itself in a unique position during this period of economic uncertainty. Unlike some of its European counterparts, the UK was not hit with the additional country-specific tariffs. This was partly due to the special relationship that the US and UK have often enjoyed. However, the UK was not entirely spared. Existing baseline tariffs of 10% on exports to the US remained in effect. Certain UK goods such as cars, steel, and aluminum faced even higher tariffs. This created challenges for British businesses that relied on exporting to the US market. The uncertainty surrounding the US's trade policy put a strain on the UK economy. Businesses held back on investments. Consumers grew wary of spending. The British pound fluctuated against the US dollar, reflecting the volatility of the situation. The UK government walked a tightrope. It sought to maintain a strong relationship with the US while also protecting its own economic interests. The announcement of a trade deal with the US came as a relief to many in the UK. However, the long-term impact of the deal remains to be seen. Section 4. Talking it out. Trade negotiations in the shadow of tariffs. The imposition of tariffs was not just an economic tactic, it was a negotiating tactic. With the tariffs in place, the Trump administration entered into trade talks with several nations. These included key allies like Japan, South Korea, and of course, the UK. The talks were tense. Each country sought to protect its own interests while navigating the unpredictable nature of US trade policy. The US pushed for better trade deals, often demanding concessions and threatening further tariffs if its demands weren't met. The negotiations were further complicated by the fact that many countries felt that the US's actions were unfair. They argued that the tariffs violated existing trade agreements and undermined the rules-based system of global trade. The trade talks were not limited to traditional allies. The US also engaged in discussions with countries like Vietnam and India. These talks reflected the Trump administration's desire to reshape global trade in favor of the United States. Section 5. Economists fret, whispers of concern. Echo through global markets. Throughout this period of trade turbulence, economists and market analysts voiced their concerns. They warned of the potential for a global trade war, with tit-for-tat tariffs escalating tensions and harming economies around the world. The tariffs, they argued, would inevitably lead to higher prices for consumers. Businesses would face increased costs, potentially leading to job losses and slower economic growth. The uncertainty surrounding trade policy would make businesses hesitant to invest, further dampening economic activity. There were also concerns about the long-term impact of Trump's actions. By undermining the rules-based system of global trade, they argued, the US risked creating a more chaotic and unpredictable trade environment. Some economists pointed to the potential for unintended consequences. For example, tariffs on Chinese goods could backfire by hurting US companies that rely on Chinese manufacturing. They also suggested that tariffs could lead to shortages of certain goods, as businesses struggled to adjust to the new trade landscape. Section 6, Deal or No Deal, unpacking the implications for global trade. The announcement of a trade deal between the U.S. and the U.K. marks a new chapter in this ongoing trade saga. The deal, while significant, also raises many questions about the future of global trade. Will this deal be a model for future trade agreements? Or is it a one-off deal, influenced by the unique relationship between the U.S. and the U.K.? The answer to this question has implications for how the U.S. engages with other trading partners. The deal also raises questions about the future of the World Trade Organization, or WTO. The Trump administration has been critical of the WTO, accusing it of being ineffective and biased against U.S. interests. Will this deal strengthen the WTO, or will it further erode the organization's authority? Ultimately, the impact of this trade deal, and of Trump's broader trade policies, will depend on a complex interplay of factors. These include the reaction of other countries, the response of businesses and consumers, and the unpredictable actions of President Trump himself. One thing is certain: the world will be watching closely as this trade drama continues to unfold.